It's kind of the luxury of dealing with a software like this is the UI itself is kind of the way it's going to be. As you guys know, we're big fans of the old light versus dark mode. Again, you guys can be, I apologize for the solar flare that you just got, but you can utilize both light and dark mode. But where we have started the development of this and what we saw with all the shops that we tend to deal with is a lack of shop management when it comes to the floor, right? There is some issues with quoting. I love the stuff that a lot of other software companies are doing, like Toolpath. Toolpath has got a great system for building out quoting. We are trying to work with them to build a plugin so that both of these softwares communicate between them. But I'm going to walk you guys through a day in the life of being new, as well as how it works and why you may or may not want to implement something like OhScrap. So again, guys, if you have any questions about Fusion at any time, feel free to throw them in chat. I'm here to help you. I'm just showing you something a little extra that we have. So running right off the start is I've just wiped my account. And as you guys can see, we have our work centers as well as our work center groups. Now you do have the freedom to add as many as you want. As you guys can see, we have a saw, we have our shop rates. These are very important when we start to look costing analysis, but also for our quoting, right? As you guys can see, I can add additional work centers. I'm going to go ahead and utilize the VF4 as always. Maybe you're thinking you're going to charge roughly $90 an hour, and this is going to go in my group of mills. Now, you do have freedom, again, to customize and make this whatever you want. So one cool feature we are working on is, let's say, for example, you have a 3-axis mill group. Well, any machine inside that group allows you to drag and drop jobs across those groups. So again, as you guys are seeing me do, I don't want to bore you to death with this. This isn't a huge change on our end, but ST20Y, we're going to throw that in the lathe department. What I want you guys to see is the fact that when we add costing to these, sorry, I missed that one there. Let's say we're going to go $75 an hour on this. It allows us, when we estimate and quote things, to pull that costing through based on our time studies, right? So now what does that mean? Well, I can now jump back into the customer side of things because I, of course, need to add some customers. And you guys know I like to pick on you guys out in the crowd. We're going to go ahead and go with rower. Oh. And again, we have rower, let's say rower MFG. Rower is the guy that we're going to look for. And we have rower at best.com, right? So as you guys are seeing, it's very easy to get your information in here. And with the QuickBooks connector, we can import and export pretty fast. But the idea is on our side is we've always thought about this as we want to estimate a part, and then we want to put those parts, or estimates as we call them, onto a quote. As you're going to see here is this is where all the magic happens. This is where all the information pertains to that part. And I'm going to walk you through that process. So we're going to, of course, this is the customer we're going to, picking on my other videos. If you guys haven't seen my other videos laid earlier this week, let's say we're going to use AC 1999, and they are looking to purchase 25 of those. So as you're seeing me do is I'm walking through the process of just plugging in the information or copy and pasting it out of an email, as most of you guys know. So again, I like the idea of 6061 round. We're going to need 3 bars of that. It's going to cost us $72. And let's just say I'm going to order 36-inch pieces from McMaster. So again, as I start to add in my pricing here, you're going to notice that the pricing down at the bottom for our individual pieces as well as our total is going to roll up into what we would formally put on our quote and send to our customer. So this is where the big difference is for some of you with the spreadsheets, you guys are used to grabbing work centers and then plugging in, maybe you're not going to use setup time. We understand it. But as you're seeing me do here is I have the ability to literally plug that information in and get a costing based off each individual operation or work center. So again, we're going to go from the saw. We're going to jump over onto our lathe. Maybe it's going to take 15 minutes to set up the lathe because he's going to have to change out the jaws. And then we're looking at about a 12-minute cycle. Again, once we're done there, we'll throw it over to the VF4. Maybe it's going to take closer to 20 minutes setup. Now, when you're estimating setup, I don't know about you guys. I always used to estimate based on that there is nothing on the table, as if you got to put in vices and tram them up and everything. Again, We're going to say maybe it's a 15-minute cycle. Who knows, right? Whatever your information is that is what we're plugging in here and rolling up the total costing to your customer. So again, the nice thing is if you will still manually want to go back to your customer and say something like, hey, to do 25 pieces, it's going to cost roughly $50 a piece. You have that freedom, but we're still going to want to save our estimate because we're going to take this estimate. And like I said, the idea is you would have a lot of parts estimated to a customer, which means we can now come back by those line items. As you guys are seeing, is I'm building out that quote. Maybe you know the due date, maybe you don't. We're going to go ahead and push this out to the 28th. And then I can actually pull in those different estimated line items. As you're seeing here, this is where we are building out our formal kind of quote to deliver to the customer. So again, just like that, we've pulled our quote item in. We could attach our documents, files, things like that if you want, and we could save that quote. Now, you could have more than one line item here, guys. Don't get too caught up in the fact that I'm only doing one, but we're going to go ahead and now mark it as sent. Of course, we could have exported a PDF, as you guys see here. Again, we can customize these PDFs. It's not a big deal. Company letterhead, or we could push it over to QuickBooks to be sent. Now your customer comes back and says they're going to accept your quote, and they want to go ahead and convert our now estimated part, and we're going to convert that onto our job board. This is where it now walked us into kind of what we like to call our customer 360. It's an overview of all the estimates you have for them, the different quotes that you've sent out, again, status of quotes, as well as now what we are referring to work orders. If you guys haven't kind of figured this out, an estimated part turns into a work order. On a work order, you have operations. They all roll back to our quote for tracking. But now what does that look like on your shop floor? Well, for your guys on the shop floor, the big thing, awesome blah out there. Great to see that you made it to the stream. The great thing about this is, by all means, your guys on the floor have the ability to punch in and punch out of their time clock. So let's say I'm starting my day just now. I know I'm late to it, but I can also go to my shop floor and look at what work orders are sitting on what machines and what operation needs to be done. So as you guys are seeing here, work order 001 for TAC 1999, op 10. I can come in and I can start my setup. This is where I need to plug in my badge number, which I'm going to actually have to go back. I used to have my badge numbers in here. I need to go into my actual user account and see that my badge number right now is 1. I'm going to swap that out for a little more friendly number. Let's say 1765. And again, what it would feel like I'm worth $60 an hour because I'm the owner, of course. And then back to the good old-fashioned shop floor, right? So I need to go over to my saw. I need to start my setup. I punch in my badge ID for time tracking purposes. And just like that, we're now starting our process and getting everything going. So now I could jump to another work order if you're doing more than one thing. Of course, once we get this actual machine into our not our start, but our running. So we're going to end our setup. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to log anything. Maybe we scrapped one part in our setup, saw cut crooked, blade broke. You never know, right? I can now do my run cycle, right? So again, same thing. Maybe you have a different employee that's going to run the parts versus somebody actually doing the setup. In real time, you can see that I'm tracking these things out. So now I jump over to my op 20. We start our setup, again, punching in my badge ID. And from there, you can see I now have multiple things running, something in setup, something planned to be due later. And that's basically the whole functionality here. Now, as we add more setups with different, or not setups, add more work orders with different due dates, we're going to automatically configure these tiles. Again, the idea is so that anybody and everybody in your shop can have visibility, as well as making sure things are meeting your deadline. So again, we have our update of new scrap pieces in 6 days when it's due. I'm going to go back in and we're going to go ahead and claim some parts here. Let's say we ran about 15 parts and log that against the job. And again, you guys are seeing the progress bar step up through that way. So again, let's log another 10 parts. And just like that, you can see that the progress, of course, is 100%, but I have not yet completed out my operation. So again, we're going to go ahead and hit pause run, complete my operation. And just like that, that is now completed and it is sitting here. The cool thing is you could see where something is in the system as you guys are seeing me toggle on and toggle off. So if I was the guy on the lathe wondering what's going on with op 20 or op 10, I can look for that. You can also search by the work order number by itself. Again, the whole idea here is to give your guys on the floor as much visibility of what they should be doing without the hand holding, without the people coming into your office to ask what they should work on next, right? So again, I'm going to just rinse and repeat. We're done with setup. We can go ahead and confirm. I'm going to go ahead and now go back in, start run, throwing up that actual badge number. We're now in the run cycle. And from here, let's just go ahead and say we're going to go ahead and just claim all 25 parts. Actually, we're going to go ahead and claim our parts first, 25. There we go. Again, we're going to pause, and then we're going to complete that next operation. So as you guys are going to see, this is kind of a rinse and repeat process. Starting my setup, jumping back over to my job one more time. We don't need to claim any parts yet. We're going to end setup. And then lastly, we're going to go in and start our run cycle. So this is kind of the breakdown of a normal workflow across what we call OhScrap. Again, our main focus is we are trying to help you guys that are spreadsheet warriors, that are trying to change anything and everything, as you guys are seeing. Oh, we got to go ahead and go back. We're clocked in. We're now in the run cycle. Let's go ahead and pause. Let's not pause. Let's claim our parts. Pause our run. Lastly, as you guys can see, nothing has came off the job board yet because we still need to go in and complete our operation. But that's it. We just want to give you guys better visibility where things are, what needs to be done, where it's sitting in the process, and maybe, even just maybe, if I go back, we will have the ability built out here to give you guys reporting. Again, employee efficiency. I know that's something that everybody hates, but since the time is now logged, we could actually pull that out to even look at, is your actual job, are you being proficient? Are your actual parts ready to be shipped out? Again, this is all stuff built in, automating the system, making it easier for you guys. Let me know. If you guys want more info, there is a link down below for OhScrap. Feel free to use it to reach out to us at any time to get a more custom demo or get you guys set up on a trial.